What's up, guys? Michael Richards here with Elite Athletic Performance. Going to do our next video in the series of videos that we've been doing to help coaches and athletes and parents on figuring some of this stuff out. Nutrition for female athletes. This is a question that I get a lot. I did a video last week. We'll link in the descriptions on nutrition for athletes. But I feel like some of the information in it, and I've noticed over the years that the information that gets put out about athlete nutrition is kind of dumbed down and generalized. And honestly, after having worked with with a large female population, there's a big difference in how females eat versus how males eat, that seems like the most obvious thing that I could possibly say for this video. So we're going to get into that. Hopefully it will help some of you figure out how to go about this. If you're a parent watching this, this will be helpful as well. So hopefully just stick around. Hopefully we can answer some questions for you. Real quick, as always, who am I? Michael Richards. I'm the owner of Elite Athletic Performance here in Benton, Arkansas. If you care about my background, what we've got going on over at EAP, you can check out our website, and that way we don't have to spend a bunch of time here. As always, please like and subscribe. I've mentioned a couple times that building a YouTube channel is like pushing a sled in quicksand. It's really hard. It's really hard to get going. So please like and subscribe. It is a massive deal for you to like the videos and subscribe. We can see right now like 20% of our viewers are actually subscribed to the channel. We really need to get that up to help with the algorithm so we can keep churning these videos out. And I always do a devotional. I feel like when God puts a microphone in my face that I need to take care of that and do a devotional. I've always felt called to do that. I've stopped reading them, so you can read them yourself. If there's anything you'd like to talk about on those as well, I'd love to do that. I don't want to sound preachy, so I don't read them anymore. Hopefully that will spur some thought for you. So moving into our video, American Academy of Pediatrics generally recommends female athletes consume between 2,000 and 2,400 calories per day. Okay, so I don't disagree with that, but you'll hear me say a lot, I live in the real world. Okay, so I have a daughter. I know it's like, I get it, like, trust me, 2,400 calories is a lot. Not all calories are created equal as well. So if you, and I feel like if you're a parent watching this, you know this for sure. If you give a calorie goal to any kid, but especially a female athlete, you know what's about to happen. It is about to be a carb fest, right? That's just the way it is. Females in general, not all females, I'm not trying to paint your daughter into a corner or anything. This is just anecdotal stuff that I've noticed over the years of working with them. They're pickier eaters. That's just the way it is. And so they're not going to go and get beef jerky, and they're not going to go eat fattening, stuff with larger amounts of calories. It's their snacks and things like that, or granola bars, little bites, things like that, breads, pastas. They're just not meat eaters. And so the protein intake, we'll get into that in a little bit. But like I said, it would be a huge carbathon if you just give them that goal. So we'll get into how I would combat that. But before we do, why is this information important? Female athletes are injured at an alarming rate. And I mean, like, that's for real. Like, it's really opened my eyes and been shocking to me how many injuries. It's like they're the walking wounded all the time. You got 8th graders walking in with braces on both knees. It's unreal. Like, that shouldn't be like that. And so the reasons that I feel like they are, it's a combination of a couple things. The reason that they're injured so much, they're malnourished, and then they're overworked, and then they're weak. So, and when I say weak, I'm talking in terms of general strength. That's just overall general body strength. As far as like mental toughness, I actually feel like the girls outwork the guys like 2 or 3 to 1. It's not even close. You have to actually watch them, because they will overwork themselves after being at practice and being put in a strength weightlifting class at school. They'll walk in our gym, and we have to watch them, because they'll try to tell you that they didn't do anything at school today, get in the weight room and start lifting again. Whereas the boys, and I mean, I'm not like, I don't really pull punches with the boys, I feel like they're pretty weak-minded, and like, I'm not really a cloud yeller, but the boys, if they've even like so much as walked through the weight room at school, they're going to walk in and tell you how sore they are and how tired they are and how they can't do any work today. You got to be careful with them. So but the girls, they'll act like they didn't do anything and they'll just come in and go. They just keep burning their candle at both ends. And one thing for sure, if you've got somebody who is going to be overworked and is trying to work on not being weak, the last thing you can afford for them to be is malnourished, all right, and not sleeping enough. I could have added that in as well, but we only have so much time. They have to have the calories and the protein that they need. You know, our muscles are what keeps these athletes from being so overworked and from being so weak, and you have to give them the things that they need, and carbs ain't it. They've got to have the amino acids and the things to build I mean, our muscles are literally made of protein, so we've got to give them those things that they need in order to be able to sustain the workloads that they have with school and practice and all that stuff. So the keys to focus on, and I know this is tough, but 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. I know this is going to be a fight going into this. I get it. For most people, it's going to be a fight. If you're a parent watching this, I would not go into this just guns blazing and be like, you know, you're not eating enough protein and you're about to start eating all this, because you know as well as I do, if it's your idea, it's going to be a bad idea. And if it's their idea, it might be a good idea. So, and you know how that works if you're a parent. So you can maybe get away with 0.75 grams of protein per pound of body weight, but that is about it. So the way I would go about this. Hey, what's up everybody? Just wanted to take a quick moment to tell you about our Patreon page. This is a way for you to support our channel with, if you enjoy the free content that's coming out, if you find it helpful. I'd really appreciate you supporting us. $5 a month is all it takes, just to help to offset some of the production costs. The information is there, but these videos take about 20 hours of dedicated work to get from planning all the way to edited and downloaded. And so anything that we can do to streamline that will make the information come out quicker. We can churn out things and put more information out there and help more people. So obviously $5 a month is all it takes. If you want to support the channel more, I'm honestly working on ways to thank you for any larger support. I thank all of you for any support, but the $25 a month all access patron will receive some free downloads once we start making digital products. The first 5 people that join that, and then if you sign up for the $50 per month, you know, maybe I'll give you a hug or whatever, but get 25% off merchandise and just basically every free digital product for now until the end of time. So I appreciate you guys watching regardless. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the video. I would have them download MyFitnessPal, that app right there. And I wouldn't say a word about making them do anything. I would tell them the recommendations. I'd be like, you know, let's see. You and I both know they're probably not eating enough protein, right? And if you're an athlete watching this, you know you don't. You know you don't. I eat meat like I could live off meat. It's my favorite meal. Every meal has to have meat or it doesn't feel like a meal to me. And we're going to get into that for you too. And I still have trouble eating enough protein. So I know you're not, you know, like 96 out of 100 of you watching this don't. So download MyFitnessPal. If you're getting enough protein already, that's awesome. You're doing it on a daily basis, not just one day out of every 10 days or whatever. It's got to be every day, and that requires planning. We'll get into that later. Download that app. Enter a couple of days of your food intake and then see how low or how high your protein intake is. I think you will be shocked. Parents, once they see that, then they might be interested. You at least have a shot at getting them on board with you and working together on coming up with a plan to increase their protein intake. But like I said, if you just bust in their room and tell them how they're going to start eating this and doing that, they're just going to fight you on it anyways. Because you know as well as I do, you can give a teenager a winning lottery ticket. If you tell them to go down and cash it, they're probably going to throw it away. But if they find it, then it's their idea and they'll go do it. But you know, that's another story. So what we are shooting for, 3 meals, 2 snacks per day. Okay, breakfast, lunch, supper, and then 2 snacks per day. Meals must contain 15 grams of protein and snacks need to have 10. You can do the math on that. If you stick to that minimum, you're not going to make it, because I know that's what, 65 grams of protein, and I know you're not 60. Most of you watching this are not 65 pounds. Thank goodness. So you've got to be able to know, you got to know that this is the bare minimum. Doing the bare minimum has never been the way to get anything good done, and you all know that. So and I'm speaking to the athletes when I say that, you all know that. So doing the bare minimum is not going to get this done, but that is your bottom line that you're watching for. It doesn't even count as a meal if it doesn't have 15 grams of protein, and it doesn't count as a snack if it doesn't have 10. Like I said, granola bars are great. They just have to have a protein shake with them. So that's the kind of stuff, because like I've seen time and time again, the athletes will walk in the door, they got 3 granola bars. I mean, yeah, that's better than nothing. So don't get me wrong, it's better than nothing, but it really needs to have a protein shake with it. You gotta have some of that protein to go with it, okay? All right, so the sources of protein: chicken, fish, steak, eggs, and protein powder. That's where they live. I know that there are sources of protein like beans and organic sources. Parents, if you want to try to get your athletes to eat vegan protein sources and eat vegan, like, be my guest. I don't have a clue. I've never done it, and I'm never going to do it. So there's no way I can speak on that. So this is, in my world, these are the sources of protein, okay? Protein powder is purposely listed last because it needs to be the last resort. We gotta be careful with overconsumption of the protein powders. Really, you don't want to get above about 2 a day. So now, like I mentioned earlier, I know that female athletes are picky eaters. I don't know what it is, if it's a texture thing. My wife and my daughter are the same way. Like the dark meat of chicken and undercooked steak and things like that, it just really kind of freaks them out a little bit. Anything slimy or anything like that, I get it. I mean, I don't get it, but I know that's what's going on. So it is a lot harder to plan and prepare protein sources for female athletes, just because of the little bit of their taste palettes and things like that. And I get that. It is what it is. I mentioned it in our last video. Hopefully one day we'll be sponsored by them, but it's a very strange deal. But there's Alberto Meat Company makes these little pre-packaged chicken things that, as weird as this is, if you're in the southeastern part of the country, the only place I've found them is at Valero gas stations and what we call Big Reds or Valero gas stations. I found them there. They come in pre-packages. There's like 20 grams of protein in each package. It's a grilled chicken. It's very clean. It's not overcooked and dried out, but it's not slimy. It's a good protein source that I feel most female athletes would be totally comfortable eating. You can take it, put it in the fridge, keep it with you, and that's a really, really good source, easy, packable source of protein to take with you. Beef jerky, I like the organic protein, or the organic beef jerkies. That depends on your budget and what you'll eat, what the athlete will eat. But that's a really good one to carry with you. And then obviously protein shakes. I mentioned in our other video, almonds are a really good source. That's like the only exception to the rule of no carbs, because no protein. There's not a bunch of protein in almonds. It's a little bit more of good fats and really that's about it. But you can fit 1,000 calories in the palm of your hand. And I know you're not trying to go crazy and gain a bunch of weight like a lot of the male athletes are, but just remember that to keep you from going more than 3 or 4 hours without eating, 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 almonds in the palm of your hand will really make a difference in how you perform at practice and how you feel, how you recover, things like that. Because when you eat lunch and then you go to practice and you don't eat again until 6 o'clock that night, that is just way too much of a calorie deficit. That's why a lot of these kids they feel bad, they're exhausted, they end up hurt, things like that. They're just going way too long without eating, okay? So, the protein shakes, again, if you have a shake for breakfast, that's fine. You just need to have some meat by noon. And I always say, be careful with your protein shake consumption. If you're gonna if you really would like to have 2 in the afternoon, then you really need to find a way to get something for breakfast with some protein in it that isn't a protein powder, because you don't want, like I said, you don't want to go crazy with your protein consumption, because it does result in some bad situations. So you got to be careful with that. You start getting over a protein, you know, 2 protein powders and or 2 protein shakes and a protein bar, it's overconsumption, and you got to be careful with that. So we can't hang out if you don't know what movie that is. So just in case, I like to mention this. Probably not going to run into this as much as the guys. Every single male athlete in the history of the universe has had this happen. Uncle Charlie or Uncle whoever, or your friends, buddies, uncles, whatever, is going to tell you about this mega 5,000 calorie weight gainer shake. Beefcake reminds me of the old South Park episode where Cartman gained all that weight and was walking around calling himself Beefcake. And like, they're going to tell you about this huge shake with 9,000 calories in it and all this stuff. Listen, no, you're not a big eater. If you already had a big appetite, or you know, you were eating all the protein that you need, you probably wouldn't even be watching this video. Okay, you know, you have some you probably need to take in a few more calories on a given daily basis. So if you do consume one of these huge mega calorie shakes that's probably going to have a bunch of peanut butter in it and all this stuff, you're not going to want to eat for like 24 hours because you're not a big eater. That's all the way it is. That's the last thing we need you to do. The very last thing athletes need to do is intermittent fast. It's called intermittent fasting, where you go an extended amount of time to basically without eating. And I use it, but I'm not an athlete. I use that to keep my weight at a certain level. You don't need to do that. You're an athlete. You don't need to go more than 3 or 4 hours without some type of calorie ingestion, protein ingestion. You definitely don't need to do that. So you want to graze, not gorge, okay? Graze your food throughout the day. Bites, a little bit at a time. You don't have to eat big meals. You just need to eat frequent ones, okay? Last one, like I mentioned earlier, please like and subscribe. It's just, we got to get, these are rookie numbers. We got to get those numbers up. 273 subscribers, we got to get that up. Actually, I think it's about 280 now, but we've got to get that number up. There'll also be a video on here to explain our Patreon page. I appreciate it if you would support that, $5 a month, and that will make a huge difference. So I appreciate you guys watching, and have a great day.